Hey there, today I'm going to be sharing 5 new one-pot dinner ideas with you. These dinners are going to be so easy. You could pretty much make them in your sleep. I hope you enjoy it, and let's go get started. To kick us off today, we are making this seasoned chicken and rice to my large Dutch oven, or you could just use a big pot. Add in a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. Once the butter is melted and the oil is hot, go ahead and toss in your 2 large chicken breasts. Make sure you do season your chicken on each side with a dash of Italian seasoning, salt, and pepper. Right now, we're just searing the chicken on each side on a higher heat for a couple of minutes, so we're not completely cooking the chicken through, just searing it. This is going to create a nice golden brown crust on the outside of the chicken, giving it some added flavor. But once I was through searing it, I put it on a plate and set that plate to the side. In the same pot that we seared the chicken in, with all of the chicken drippings still in the pot, add in a cup of uncooked jasmine rice, 2.5 cups of chicken broth, a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, tablespoon of minced garlic, and the juice from 1 lemon. Give this a really good stir and make sure you scrape all of the bits off the bottom of the pot. There's some great added flavor in those bits. Now we're going to add back in the chicken that we just seared from the plate and add the juice from the plate back in too. Go ahead and let this simmer covered for about 18 to 22 minutes, or until the rice is tender and the chicken's cooked through. Then you could serve it up. I think this dinner will really surprise you. It is so easy to make, and my little toddler and infant both love it. That rice is extremely flavorful, and the chicken has that nice crust on it. It is super juicy and tender. I did serve this alongside of a side salad. Now we're making this tomato honey chicken pasta. So to begin, into this pot of boiling water, I'm adding in about a half a pound of penne pasta. I'm going to cook it according to the box instructions. If you don't have penne pasta on hand or want to use other pasta, you certainly can. But once my pasta is nice and tender, I am just going to strain the water out and set the pasta to the side. Into the same pot that we cooked the pasta in, just add in about a tablespoon of olive oil, along with a pound of chicken breasts that I cubed. For the seasonings, add in a tablespoon of honey. I know this might sound strange, but the honey just gives it great flavor. Then add in a half a teaspoon of oregano, cumin, paprika, chili powder, salt, and pepper. Give this a really good stir and cook the chicken through at this point. Now that the chicken is cooked through, remove it to a plate and set this plate to the side. Look at the coating on the chicken. Doesn't it just look beautiful? In the same pot that we cooked the chicken in, add in a tablespoon of butter, along with a yellow onion that you diced. Let the onion get soft. It should only take about a few minutes. But now that the onion is soft, add in a tablespoon of minced garlic and let that become fragrant. Now you'll want to add in a 15-ounce can of petite diced tomatoes, along with a half a teaspoon of salt and a dash of pepper, and then also add in a half a teaspoon of cumin, oregano, chili powder, and then the last thing is a tablespoon of honey. Give this a really good stir, scraping the bits off the bottom of the pot. Now you're going to want to add in 1 cup of heavy cream. Give this another stir and bring this up to a simmer. Once it starts to simmer, add in 1 cup of Mexican style cheese along with the cooked chicken. Give this a stir and let the cheese melt down. Once it gets nice and melty, you are going to want to add in the drained pasta that we cooked up earlier. Once the pasta is coated in the sauce, it's ready to serve. Okay, you guys, you definitely need to share this recipe with your friends. This is amazing. The honey is not overpowering at all. The sauce is nice and creamy. It has such good, bold flavor. I could eat bowls and bowls of this and not get tired of it. We love this meal so much. This one is for all of my meatless meal friends. We're making this white broccoli pasta. To my large pan, I added in a tablespoon of butter and a tablespoon of olive oil. Once the butter was good and melty and the oil was hot, I tossed in a tablespoon of minced garlic. Once my garlic was fragrant, it only took about 15 seconds. I added in 2 cups of chicken broth and a cup and a fourth of half and half, then my seasonings, a half a teaspoon of onion powder, garlic powder, paprika, and then a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and salt, and then lastly a half a teaspoon of pepper. I'm just going to give this a really good stir and bring this up to a simmer. Once simmering, add in a half a cup of elbow pasta, or really any type of pasta you like. Make sure the pasta is covered in the liquid, and then put the lid on top and let this simmer covered for about 3 minutes. After 3 minutes of simmering, now it's time to add in your fresh broccoli. This is just 1 large head of broccoli that I cut into smaller florets. I'm also adding in a half a cup of heavy cream at this point, and I'll give this a really good stir. I'll let this continue to simmer covered for an additional 8 minutes or until my pasta is tender. Now that the pasta and broccoli are tender, we are going to add in our half a cup of Parmesan cheese. Just sprinkle that in and then stir this until the cheese is melty, and then you could serve it up. Here's what this dinner looks like. It really is super simple to throw together, but the taste is extravagant. I love this meal because you could really make it your own by adding different meats if you want to add meats to this, or you could add different vegetables if you'd like. This one is a super fun one. We are making this cheeseburger pasta now. To the pot on my stove, I'm adding in 1 pound of ground beef. Break the ground beef up and cook it until it's about 50% of the way cooked through, so not completely cooked through. At this point, you'll want to add in a tablespoon of minced garlic along with a yellow onion that you diced. Go ahead and continue to cook this ground beef now until it is completely cooked through. Once it's cooked through, just remove any excess grease from your pot, and now you're going to want to add in about a tablespoon of regular ketchup and 2 tablespoons of yellow mustard and 3 tablespoons of tomato paste. Give this a stir to incorporate all of those ingredients together. Now you're going to want to add in your 4 cups of beef broth along with 1 pound of elbow pasta. Give this a stir and bring it up to a simmer. Let this simmer covered for about 10 to 15 minutes. You do want to stir it occasionally while it's simmering, just so nothing sticks to the bottom of your pot and your pasta cooks evenly. Now that I have my pasta to the tenderness that I like it to be, I am going to add in a half a cup of milk. You are also going to want to add in a half a cup of sour cream. I do want to mention I do have my heat off at this point. Lastly, add in 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. Stir this around to incorporate the sour cream in and melt the cheese. Then you could serve it up. I topped mine with diced dill pickles. This really does taste super similar to a traditional cheeseburger. I really like making this one because it's simple to throw together and it really is a lot of fun. It's not your typical type of boring dinner. Now we're making this beef vegetable soup. It was so cold here where I'm at last week. To begin, I'm dicing up my 1 yellow onion, next 2 stalks of celery, 2 medium-sized russet potatoes I'm peeling and dicing, and then 3 large carrots I diced. Over to my large Dutch oven on the stove, I have a pound of ground beef in there. I'm going to cook the ground beef until it's about 50% of the way cooked through. Now that it's 50% of the way cooked through, I'm adding in a tablespoon of minced garlic along with our onion. Go ahead and cook the ground beef through right now, but once the ground beef's cooked through, if there's any excess grease in your pot, just remove it. Now I'm adding in the remaining vegetables that we cut up along with a can of diced tomatoes. This is just a regular 14-ounce can. And then add in 5 cups of beef broth, and this might sound silly, but you're also going to want to add in 2 cups of regular V8 juice. This this is going to give this soup a lot of added flavor and texture, so just trust me. Now you're going to want to add in the last couple veggies. It's just 2 cups of frozen green beans and 1 cup of frozen peas. You could always add different vegetables if you'd like. Then add in 2 teaspoons of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. Stir this all together and let this simmer covered for about 35 to 40 minutes. My house was smelling so cozy at this point. This soup reminds me so much of my sweet grandma. Here's my bowl of food. I topped mine with a little bit of black pepper and fresh parsley. All those veggies are nice and tender, but not too tender. And this vegetable soup is rich and bold in flavor. I did serve this alongside of some quick and easy dinner rolls. I really like this brand. I just find it in the frozen section of my grocery store. You don't want to miss the next video, so make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you there. Bye for now.